Wagwan ninjas and ninja rats. It's your boy Hype to the DARD Orado is my name and this is the real edits. Karibu kwa shughuli ingine mwecheche. Leo tumeenda tunaamua yani hadi tutaenda leo tutaenda kila mahali. Na tujue rada ni gani. So this happened today, like yesterday. I believe, this happened today where ninja wetu anaitwa Sakaja alitua kwa Senate and wajua watu wamekuwa kisema Jalango said one thing that when it comes to talking about ODM Sifuna anakuanga very very active siku hizi, but when it comes to talking about matters Nairobi he is very silent. Sasa sijui kama anakulaga, which was very interesting cause actually kuna venye alikujaga ka tone down cause kuna time alikuwa ngana sukuma Sakaja mbaya sana and then aka tone down, so I don't know what happened. Sijui pia alianza kukula or unajua pia kuna hii movement yake imeanza inaitwa sisi ndio Sifuna and personally I support it. I don't know, hadi nakumbuka pia nikikuwa tulikuwa tunabonga that this guy will turn up to be something. I believe it is his time and he should take the anafachukua hiyo moment jo and make it something else. I hope itaenda ikifade kama ya Morara. Unajua Morara ilikuja tu ikapyo after all the hype and all that. I hope itakuwa tu hype and then ikuja ifade cause kuna kale kanini fulani ako like that kind integrity and humanity in him from what we have as options or as leaders now, because United Opposition is just a mirror of the current government yenye iko. So ni watu tu walitoka cause they felt wame sidelineiwa, so they formed now they are bashing the same place where they were, and that's not an option, So anyway, so hii ni grilling ya Sakaja about the Nairobi issue. So I don't know why he decided to give it to the national government, or like, okay, partially some functions partially zimepatiwa kwa same. Funny thing, it's very interesting because the same people ndo walikuwa na bash story ya NMS, right? They didn't like what NMS was doing, so and they now walituambia this will never happen, right? Now sasa it's happening the same. That's when nakwambia the same thing. Sasa unaona venye Gachagua anatuambia like akiingia, if he becomes the president, he will deal atairudisha to NHIF. I don't know, like he's saying that he will do the opposite being kenye Ruto amefanya, zile zenye amefanya atazi nini, and then tuta end up in the same nini, in the same position, right? Because akina nani wako hapo, they are not bashing Ruto because it's a noble thing they are doing. Hapana, it's because they are not part of the cake eating. Unaona, what they want ni ati wanataka kuwa at a position where they can negotiate, so they don't care if they win or not. At the end of the day ni ile tu wanataka tutashare aje hizi keki. Unaona, hata Gachagua si eti ana nini sana ashinde asiposhinde, anataka kupukeka kwa ile position anaweza negotiate. Unaona, it's not about changing the nini of Kenya, at the end of the day. So anyway, so digress kidogo, but nataka tuonge historia, tuwatch historia Sakaja tujue what really happened in the Senate, because nimeona clips on TikTok and ninja wameletana juu and okay, wameenda back and forth. Kuna mahali wanaitana friends, kuna mahali I saw even nani left, Sifuna at some point left. Kuna clip niliona he left this grilling and I don't know what that was about, but I want to see kama amerudi to to that position where he grills Sakaja and asks him the tough questions that need to be asked, because Sakaja alituambia Nairobi itawak, but he ain't working. Sasa nasikia nini natoa 80 billion. So anyway, that's crazy. Acha tuone kwa hii deal ati government ya Nairobi inapata 80 billion. Yeah, that's crazy to see, but anyway, acha tuone. Anyway, straight to the point, straight to the video. Let's see what really transpired.
Is that having the agreement is mandatory? It's 14 years late because the law was passed in 2012, Urban Areas and Cities Act. Number two, this agreement is not a transfer of functions. It is not. Transfer of functions happens under Article 187 of the Constitution.
Okay.
Where a function, and there must be a deed of transfer. And when you do the deed of transfer, one level of government handles functions ordinarily supposed to be handled by another level of government. We said we will not transfer functions. If anything, the national government transferred some to us through our school feeding program, which we run.
So school feeding program. So the government transferred school okay, hii story ya school feeding kweli ilikuwa idea nani? This school feeding program kweli hii idea ilianza na nani? Mimi si kwa kwangu I believe hii idea ilianza na mjama school feeding program. Ama ilianza na nani school feeding? So how was it transferred to the county? If like school feeding, whose nini was it? Whose idea was it?
And which is very successful. It is actually ordinarily would have been run by the national government. Number two, a transfer function creates an institution like the NMS that then is used to run those functions, ideally, or the precedents that we have in our country. There is no institution.
Mjamaa siku hizi namuonaga tu naona tu akikaa mkora. Ukiona mtu tu anakaa tu mkora. Mjamaa anakaa tu mkora. Like mkora tu hadi sijui kwa nini mimi naona tu mjamaa akikaa mkora ile serious. Siku hizi like anakaa tu kaka nini tu fulani tu yani.
Created under this agreement.
Buda alafu angalia hiyo nini hiyo cheki hawa tu cheki vitu wanatumia. Ma iPad, maana hizi iPad mpya jo. Cheki. Alafu upate hizi vitu zikiprocuriwa, when they were being procured, the price was inflated like nobody's business. Sasa watu na walituambia juu mambo ya laptop. Uhuru told us about laptop, sold us some bogus nini. Na angalia hizi tablet unatumia. Hizi ni manini, hizi ni ma iPad. Wajua iPad ni how much? iPad wajua haijapita so. Na upate sasa juu wali inflate. Did they have to, ni lazima watumie iPads. So there are other better and cheaper and affordable. There are other affordable tablets they can use. At Android, like they can go for Xiaomi, they can go for Lenovo. Huawei have amazing ones. Do they have to use nini? Do they have to use iPads? Hizi vitu ni expert buda for no reason. They si lazima wabai hizi. Si lazima. Juu najua hata venye walizibai wali inflate the price of this.
The county shall do what the county does. The national government shall do what the national government does.
Okay, sina ubaya, but ni vile tu naangalia. Okay, sasa unajua ukiangalia gava na ukiangalia what is happening kwa gava. There's a lot of wastage of resources, lots of wastage of public fund. Hadi ukiona tu kitu kidogo unashindwa. Like ukiona tu kitu kidogo inakaa tu negative kwako. Unaona? Cause me I believe if everything was working, na niona hizi iPads ningesema okay. Yeah, they are wanafaa watumie like, but sasa wanatumia hizi vitu expensive, you know. Na CBC iko all confused. Kuna mahali hadi vitabu hakuna. Na hizi ziko tu hapo.
But the national government can now, through its appropriation at the National Assembly, create
jamaa vaa watch ya yellow. Jamaa vaa watch ya yellow jo. Jamaa ni fanatic wa UDS.
A outline in resources for the capital city, which are additional. And I'll give you an example because we've been trying to find ways. Nairobi has a shortage of schools. Big shortage of schools. A city of 7 million people having 210 schools. I'm sure you can tell me the number of schools in a constituency in your, in Eldoret. In fact, the president is a former member of Eldoret North. He said he had 150 schools when he was MP. And so what we sought to do was to find an injection.
So ukituambia there are 150 schools, so is that our problem? How is that our problem? Ukituambia that you have less schools in Nairobi, how is that our problem? We give you our taxes, right? We give you our taxes. When we give you our taxes, why are you not building schools for that? Mbona mtumii do kubuild schools? Munapatia watu waende sijui sai what happened? Sai 4 million ilitolewa ya the majembe fights, ndio misplaced priorities. Katai simba, okay, poni poa vijana wa kule. But sasa, was it a must for that? Mmetoa sijui 2 million. Kuna sasa vijana hadi wanafaa waende watch game. Watch games sijui Arsenal na nini. Really? President mzima anatoa 2 million ati ndio alipe flights. A facilitate. Why should he do that? Okay, si ati natakia vijana vibaya, but sai penye tuko sizo si vitu like president hata angesema one thing, hata angesema that atatoa, you know, angesema ati atatoa. Hapana, inaonesha tu yani hadi una feel tu yani mjamaa tu ameona tu yani. Alafu uko kwao Mr. Beast the other day alibuild 7 classes. Because I had your place in it's in the Rift Valley. Mr. Beast alienda build 7 classes. Nasikia anasema ati akiwa MP, president akiwa MP, ati alikuwa na 150 schools kwa constituency yake. Mr. Beast from nowhere, 7 classes na atafidao hoto hiyo for 5 years. Crazy. Nyang'au hapa ana complain about 200 schools. How is that our problem? Because sisi tunalipa tax. The other day, my sis, no kwamba this thing is very sad. My sis, sai, like, ile do wanakatwa in terms of taxes kwa mshahara yao, it's close to 40%. Sai pay slip inakatwa 40%. Imagine unalipwa 50%, unalipwa acha niseme for example, imagine unalipwa like 50,000 na una end up na 20,000, 30,000 imeenda hivyo. Ni ati ni taxes. Sai NSSF inakata tier 1, tier 2. Kama unalipwa hapo around, kama unalipwa more, kuna tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Yani unakatwa mara 3 kwa NSSF. It doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense. Nyang'au here is complaining that we have less schools. How is that our problem? Buddha, sisi ndo tunawapatia taxes zetu. You should find how you're going to build schools. Sikuja utuambia that you have 200 and what unataka tufanye?
To build more classrooms, primary and ECD. That was done because of a lack of a framework. It had to be done through CDF. That the president then gave additional 1 billion to Nairobi MPs through CDF to add classrooms.
Si ndio CDF tulikuwa nataka itolewe. Raila wanted it itolewe. MPs waka complain because hapo ndo wanakulia. So unataka si tufanye nini? Why are you complaining?
It is not neat, you know, because even that was a big fight in the National Assembly. Because other members of parliament then asked, why is it that they're getting $1 billion more, yet we're not getting that money? So it's a special arrangement. The only county which has that provision and which can leverage on it is Nairobi County. And so as the governor, I have to ask myself a question. If I am straining to provide these services efficiently, and there is a provision of the law that I can take advantage of and get an additional X billion, whatever amount it is, I must run towards that opportunity for the benefit of the people. And the same goes for many other things. One of the things.
So if you get that opportunity, what do you do with it? Because hakuna kitu, nani anaona nangani kuna kitu ina happen Nairobi. Nothing happens in Nairobi. Nothing happens. Since anasema they get that opportunity. Ebuwe kama Mkenya umekaa hapo, have you seen any difference? You know? Because I went to Nairobi. Now it's been like I don't know how many months since nikanyage Nairobi. because I don't want to go there. Hiyo place iko congested, kila kitu iko kila mahali, we have boda kila mahali, mud jam kila kitu, like hadi ufurahi kukua tao au furahi kukua tao, like tao inakaa vile inataka, Nairobi inakaa vile inataka. There is nothing exciting in being in Nairobi because it's total chaos. Sasa hadi mimi yangu akiniambia that yo tuende Nairobi, inakuwaga tu nimeka sura nyingine. Hapana, ati tuende tao ne, because I'm not excited in going there, because the place is not even safe, it's not clean, it's very congested, hawkers wako kila mahali, like kila pavement ni hawkers, pikipiki zinapita kwa pavement, makelele left right center, you know, crazy.
For instance, Chairman, sorry, I don't take too much time. One of the areas we're partnering is on sanitation.
Okay.
On sanitation, work that ordinarily, would have taken us so many years to do. We are now doing a 54-kilometer sewer line, 27 kilometers on both sides of the river, through the River Commission that we jointly set up, the national government and the country. That project alone is 50 billion shillings. How long would it have taken Nairobi to get 50 billion shillings to do that project that covers the sanitation for the next 40 years?
Why? Okay. 50 billion shillings kufanya. How is that costing 50 billion shillings? Kweli wanajenga siwa line inakaaje? Kweli wanajenga siwa line inakaaje? Ndio yake 50 billion shillings kwa siwa line. And was okay. Kweli nataka kuniambia kweli county inatengeneza pesa ngapi, county itself? Because ukikumbuka Sonko akiwa kwa nini alikuwa anasema like sometimes alikuwa analetewa 50M per day. Alikuwa anasema alikuwa analetewa 50M ya bribes peke yake. Bribe ndo vitu zingine ziweze kupenya. Nakumbuka akienda nini zikiwa procured reflectors, sijui zilikuwa zinauzwa how much reflector moja. Yani kila kitu imeinflatiwa, and I'm sure that 50 billion imeinflatiwa
for this city. It's a 1.8 by 1.8 box culvert.
No one is genuine.
That project includes 6 billion of treatment plant in Kariobangi, 6 billion shillings. That project includes another 3 billion of last mile connectivity, which supports also the affordable housing and our urban renewal. It includes stadia, linear markets. Kamkuji grounds, if you go today, is different from what? So this also should, formalize some of these arrangements. More than 1 kilometer now per ward, 7 billion. There is no space in my budget where I've gotten 7 billion additional. But these are things that are needed. So we took a pragmatic approach. Because
okay. 7 billion per kilometer of sewage. Ama ni nini? Ama ni, okay, ni sewage ama ni barabara? Because sewage itakuwaje expensive to that extent per kilometer kuliko barabara? Ama anaongea kuhusu nini hapa?
We can also decide to be...
Amesema per kilometer of road or per kilometer of sewage? Ebu help me explain. Ebu nielewesheni hapa.
More than 1 kilometer now per ward, 7 billion.
So it's, I believe hiyo ni barabara. Kama ni sewage ya kuona venye sewage siwala inaweza kuwa expensive kuliko barabara. 7 billion per kilometer.
There is no space in my budget where I've gotten 7 billion additional. But these are things that are needed.
Nyangao nyinyi. After unajua mamjamani aje, the most weird part, Senate ilikuwa inaongeza do kila county. Sisi ilikuwa inaongeza how much? Ndio do ikuwe for something. And these some senators walikataa. And some governors kama hii Nyang'ende. Unaona? Some governors kama hii Nyang'ende. Si ndio? Some governors kama hii Nyang'ende, they were supporting that. Sindo ina complain that is yo do itoshi.
So we took a pragmatic approach because we can also decide to be too finicky about the exact provision of the law and not end up helping people who actually require these services. And they require them very, very urgently. I keep saying urban poverty is many times worse than rural poverty. When you have no money, you'll have nowhere to stay, nothing to eat. And so there are many, many projects that we're looking at in line with this. We have a problem with lighting, for instance. Nairobi has 50,000 lights. It needs 120,000 lights. There's 3.7 billion coming through that will create provision of these lights. But just like roads, and I'd like you to understand, just like roads, today I've seen a complaint somewhere of flooded underpass here at Haile Selassie. That is a national road. In fact, it's an international road here. It's not Nairobi's road, but the blame will always go to the county. I've seen complaints of Jogo Road. It's not. The other time I had to intervene at Ojijo Road, which used to flood. In fact, cars would be submerged. An intervention meant, because the drain on Ojijo Road is 1.2 meter, the drain on Kipande is 0.6. It had to involve me looking for Kenha to sort it out. We have more than 7 wards in Nairobi without power because transformers were removed. I have to look for the PS energy. It is not my function, but it's my responsibility as a...
But okay, yeah, it's not your function, but it's your responsibility. Yeah, I get it, right? But why does it have to be so nini kutafutana that? Because anaifanya inakani ngumu, ana venye na explain kama ni ngumu, and it shouldn't be like that. Kila nini nafaa kuwa ina work seamlessly, si ndio? The county government with the national wanafaa kuwa na work seamlessly. Mbona wanaifanya inakani ngumu? Because we give them the resources. Au ndo wanafanyanga nini na kuwa ngumu? Because they want everything to be hard, ndio waweze pia kubenefit in it, na pia waweze kutuonesha ati venye ni ngumu, because we give them the resources through our tax. So mbona anafanya anaiweka tweet ati anataka kuiweka ikaini ngumu
government. And so this creates for me a beautiful platform, an implementation committee that I chair. I chair that committee. Across me I have the PS of energy, I have the PS national treasury, I have the PS security. When there's a security problem, the county is blamed, yet I have no way to intervene. I don't think any other governor has such an opportunity. And we can meet twice, thrice. It is a real committee. The other one is just sets policy. That I can actually follow up what we've committed to do on water with that PS in that committee.
So if you do that, so why give other functions to the national government?
You know, drainage improvement, where we've got 1 billion. So long and short, Chair, is that I feel that this is it's a beautiful opportunity for the city. Of course, there's no agreement that is perfect. We can refine it. You know, we can look at the nitty-gritty of what needs to be added. I've heard people saying the steering committee has too many people from national government, which I hear. I think that is true. So we can be equal. Some people have said, look at the chairing, etc. That is okay. Instead of the form of the agreement, let's look at the function, what we're actually going to gain as a city, pragmatically. Then you can sort out the form of how, who convenes the meetings, how what is done. It's a great opportunity for devolution. And I'm so confident that in the next 5-6 months, people will see a big difference in this city. Huge difference.
Me personally, I'm tired with these promises. These promises, they're just... We don't want to hear that in the next. Yani hadi anaongea tu kama kiongozi tu. Anaongea tu kama kiongozi tu. In the next. Promising day in, day out. Kazi yote ni kupromise in the next. Hii historia in the next mimi nimechoka kusikia. Mimi sijui kama nyinyi mmechoka kusikia about it. In the next kila wakati. Everyone from this government anasema in the next you will see a big difference. In the next you will see, in the next Buddha. Tumechoka na hiyo story. We want something tangible. Fixed things. You don't have to tell us. You don't have to show us. Like, you don't have to show us that you're doing it. And you don't have to brand it. Tell us. Yani, nifanyeni. But this story ya could transfer. Is it a must? Is it a must for it to happen? Ni lazima happen. Unako ni umeshindwa kazi ndo that's why una transfer. kazi some functions to the Nairobi, to the government, you know. Nenda kuniambia umeshindwa kazi that much. Sasa nakwambia sasa ameona kimeumana, you know. This ninja ameona yenyewe sasa kimeumana ile serious, you know. Ameona we yenyewe yes, hao ndo alituambia historia nini ita happen. Now it's the same thing is happening. Pole utasikia acha tutaform kitu kama NMS sasa.
Whether it is on cleanliness, whether it is on sanitation, whether it is on roads, on lighting. And as I was saying, this lighting of those roads, when there are no lights on Juja Road, we blame the county. Yet Kura should be lighting their roads. In fact, what we've agreed is no road contract should be given going forward without the aspect of street lighting. You know? Kenha is the only agency that currently...
Adu kwa bwana andika nini jo? Mimi hata sijui jo. Ana saa zingine mimi nakwambia nimekatsika na hii serikali to an extent. Nikiona tu watu wengine tu hapo tunashindwa. What's their purpose there? Purpose yao ni gani hapo? You know, purpose yao watu ni gani? Saa zingine unakaga hivi unashindwa hiyo. Yaani hii gavana kwa nini imenikasirisha to this extent man. Ukiona watu wengine unashindwa purpose yao ni gani jo? Kwanza nilisikia wengine sijui wako na nini. Nilisikia kama PS. I heard someone say that PS wa energy. He's a nurse. Anafanya nini kwa nini ya energy? Sijui Wandai pia. Hakuna mtu ako na qualifications hapo. Ma MD na ma director na manini wa KPLC Kenya ni wakale.
Takes care of the lights and the bills for their roads. But since the county is given that responsibility, as opposed to maybe another county, when there's no light, it becomes a national security issue. So that interplay between national and county goes without saying. Finally, every capital city worth its salt in the world has similar agreements. Washington DC, Australia, if you go to Berlin, if you go to London, where you have the greater...
Okay. Anatumentionia ma-cities zenye already, anatumentionia ma-cities ziko next level, Buddha. Stop mentioning cities ziko next level. Already washa fix mambo yao. That's why they have... For them, your agreement kama hiyo ina make sense. Right? Because washa fix software yao. Right? Things zina flow. But for Nairobi, these other county governments in Kenya, software yao iko damaged to an extent. Kazi yao tu ni kukula tu. Spending so much left which is not necessary. Spending on which is not necessary. Not working on what should be worked on. You know? And now you want to get in a deal like other cities which are they are 10 times bigger than ours. They are 10 times ahead than our city. Mbona haja mention Ethiopia? Mbona haja mention nini ziko hapa na karibu na sisi? Why is he mentioning Western Beijing, hizo DC hizo? Why?
The metropolitan area of London, if you go to Paris, if you go to Cape Town in Pretoria, it must be there.
I mentioned Pretoria. But Pretoria is next level, Buddha. Pretoria is next level.
Capital cannot be ignored. So I will leave it at that because I know there are many concerns. And I'm available to give any clarification that is available.
Chair, Governor, thank you so much. Chairman, I think, Governor, we perused through the document. And the first thing that came to my mind, there was a similar collaboration with NMS.
So kitu ya kwanza, hizi ndio nimeuliza, hizi iPad. Unajua hizi iPad kazi yao ni gani? Naona wakisoma kwa karatasi. Hizi iPad kazi yao ni gani? Hizi iPad kazi yao ni gani? Cause mimi nakwambia hizi vitu zingine zinanijamisha tu. Mimi naona wakisoma kwa paper. Kazi ya hizi iPad ni gani? Cause they should be using the iPads. Cause hizi files zote zinafaa kuwa zimetransferiwa kwa ma iPad, like they should be prepared kwa iPad. Yaani wewe tu kazi yako ni kuscroll. Why the papers? Mimi nakwambia vitu zingine zinanikulisha moto ile serious. I don't know. I think maybe sijui if I'm that biased that naona kila kitu naona fault tu kwa gava. naona fault kila kitu akifanya, naona tu fault hata kitu kidogo.
NMS has left a huge bill, red bill, in this city. And this new collaboration and agreement is not mentioning about it. And of course, every time it appears in the audit that red bill is still there. Good. What makes the difference between the previous collaboration and the agreements?
Because you've given the governor time to speak, let's also give the Nairobi first, so that we can understand where.
Okay, yes. Okay, give us brief.
Okay, thank you, Chair and Governor.
Sifuno acha abonge.
Chair, I want to go on record as one of the people who have expressed deep concern about this particular arrangement with the national government.
Alafu kitu ingine, mbona hizo mic ziko mbaya hivyo jo? Yaani
The county government of Nairobi. I want to be very clear from the onset that nobody is against development, nobody is against support from the national government to county governments in the execution of their mandates for the delivery of services.
Ngoja, amesema nini hapo? Buda sijasikia kitu. Mimi nilikuwa nafikiria kuhusu mic.
National government and the county government of Nairobi. I want to be very clear from the onset that nobody is against development, nobody is against support from the national government to county governments in the execution of their mandates for the delivery of services for the people of Nairobi. But you will agree with me, Governor, that everything we do is subject to the law and the Constitution. We will start with Article 10 of the Constitution, which requires that any time any person makes any policy pronouncements or public policy decisions such as the ones you have taken to essentially transfer these functions to the national government, you have to apply the values in Article 10, which also include, and I'm sure you're aware, that public participation has to be taken before the fact, not after the fact.
Yeah, that makes sense. Public participation. Yeah, I believe there wasn't, because mi sikuona any. So this thing ilianza. So it started as a rumor. And then when it started as a rumor, this Sakaja guy posted on Twitter and said hakuna kitu kama hiyo ina happen. Then the next day tunasikia wako State House. Sijui alipost hiyo ku at least kujaribu ku maintain pressure ya watu au ku maintain ni ya watu, and then the next day tunaona wako State House doing the same thing. Alisema they are not, it's like a rumor. Alisema ilianza tu kama rumor, and then now akasema hakuna kitu kama ina happen, and then the next thing ina happen.
And we'll come to that shortly, Honorable Chair. The agreement is expressed to be pursuant to Section 6 of the Urban Areas Act, and the Governor has rightfully referenced that whereas it anticipates an agreement between the two levels of government to support Nairobi recognizing its special standing, that particular section makes it subject to subsection 2 of that Section 6, which says that the county government shall be run as a county government. And Honorable Speaker, I will send you straight to Article 176.
Honorable Speaker, I'm Honorable Chairman.
Which gives us a definition of a county government. Article 176(1) says there shall be a county government for each county consisting of a county assembly and the county executive. So that, Honorable Chair, any agreement under Section 6 of the Urban Areas Act must recognize that the only structure of management of a county is the one that is established under 176(1). So that if you introduce any management body outside those two, you are flouting subsection 2 of Section 6 of the Urban Areas and Cities Act. Honorable Speaker or Chair, Article 177 further establishes the membership of the county assembly and the county executive. It does not include, outside the speaker, outside the members of the county assembly, you cannot purport to introduce any other organ. And in the membership of the county executive as well, You cannot purport to introduce members of the national executive in the management of the county and then claim that you have done it in accordance with the law. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, or Chair, public participation that is anticipated under Article 10(1)(c) is something that is required prior to decisions being made. Your Excellency, you entered into agreement. You have signed an agreement here. And I would want that when the committee starts interrogating, we need to understand as the people of Nairobi how long these conversations have been going. Because it is not possible that, in my estimation, I don't think that these conversations happened within a week or two. You, as the head of the government in Nairobi, have been having these conversations with the view of entering this agreement with the national government. I think I'll be right to assume that it has taken some time. What was so difficult for you to be able to publish, for instance, a notice and say, the Nairobi County government is in talks with the national government with a view of entering an agreement that looks like this, and then allow us as the people of Nairobi to conduct public participation and give our views, including the County Assembly of Nairobi?
Yeah, that's a very good question. That's a very good question. Sinakwambia kitu ilianza kama rumors. I think one news outlet wali post, and then kidogo the ninja decided to post on Twitter saying there is nothing like that will be happening. The next day tunaona kwa State House. Because nakumbuka hadi Sifuna akisema na ngoja, we are waiting and seeing. Hadi akisema if such happens, it's not in accordance to the constitution. And then the next day we see them in State House, Buddha. So nakwambia, when were the Nairobians involved in all this? So it makes sense, man. It makes sense. So I don't know.
Honorable Chair, I want to...
How is it even easier to defend such a government where they want to do things kimalamala, they want to do things... Yani, there is a lot of disorder in this country. To an extent, nothing even makes sense. Unaona? Yani, hakuna order. Left, right and center. Hakuna order at all. Kila mtu anafanya vitu vya anataka. You know? And that's when I liked what Sifuna said ile time akiwa NTV. Alisemaje? Like, it's time now to fix the software. Hii mambo ya shiny things where we are talking about sijui yo stadium, sijui roads, sijui nini. Like, story ya affordable housing. The government should not be in the business of building houses. Unless maybe wanna build houses za their staffs. Like, how do you call them? Public servants. That's something else. But it should be in the business of building houses for Kenyans. Business enough. They should make the nini conducive for houses to be built. So if they took that money, waseme hiyo housing levy ikuwe inakatwa kila Mkenya. Sikatai. Unaona, unalipa hiyo tax. But make sure that rent in Kenya is cheaper. Meshika, kaa chini na hao watu wa housing and everything in the private sector. Kaa nao chini. Uulize, how can the government input some money in this organization, on this nini, so that we can make nini kuwe cheaper. So they should make construction kuwe cheaper. Kitu ya kwanza. Wanafajua venye watakuwa na add some cash into it. Ndio hata hawa watu wenye wana build wakibuild hizi apartments hizi nini penye sisi tunaishi and all that, wanahakikisha ndo hata Mkenya mwenye analipa housing levy anajua at least kana analipa housing levy rent ni cheaper. Meshika. But sasa they should not be building, because ni domo bwana waste into building, and they will just make few. Hizi do azita, hizi nini azita, na wenye wanakatwa si wenye watakuwa wanakaa kwa hizi nyumba. No, it doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense at all. No. So kama unakata mtu housing levy, they must benefit from it. Ile tax yote unakata mtu, they must benefit from it at the end of the day. Na kwanza kitu kama housing, it's very important. Unaona? So the government should not be in the business of building houses. It should be in the business of making it conducive for people to get houses. You know, for people to get your basic need ya housing. And making it conducive is by making it affordable. By making sure construction is affordable. Si expensive. Na construction ikikuwa affordable, rent ita reduce.
confirm as a senator of Nairobi that I had no idea that these particular negotiations were going on. Outside the fact that governor is my friend, is able to reach me on phone.
So I didn't know they were friends, because me, I didn't know alikuja wakakuwa mabeshte when. I think that's why alikuja ka tone down on bashing the ninja. Ama maybe nani alimwambia atulie baba, cause jamaa hakuwa anaeka jamaa, like he was like yo, you know, alafu akakuja akatu akatone down. So
I had no clue until I saw that invitation that there was going to be a signing ceremony, and you put it at a very unfriendly address, which
so he had to say it, man. Unfriendly address, najua ni wapi? That's State House, man. This ninja, sijui kama ataikanyaga State House. Sijui. Mjama, when it comes to this government and William Ruto, this ninja is 100% against them. Like, yo, this ninja, the thing with this guy is very consistent. Yani amekuwa so consistent, like, hadi tunajua tu mjama, usi like to twist his words. Like, hadi akienda mbele yao, he says it as it is. Sijiona mahali penye ashairudi nyuma akasema, you know what, yo, sijie, nah, he's against this guy, like 100%.
Of course, Sifuna is not welcome to attend. We have seen the schedule that has been published for now, the public participation. The people of Nairobi are supposed to undertake that public participation tomorrow. Actually, it starts today at Charter Hall and then Friday in the constituencies. This is an egregious violation of the right of public participation, in my view, because you have already put pen to paper, Honorable Governor. And it is, the courts in Kenya have already ruled that when the constitution requires public participation, it has to be meaningful. It cannot be a cosmetic exercise meant to rubber stamp something that has already been settled. So, Honorable Chair, I have a problem. And this Committee of Devolution must actually protect the people of Nairobi. If you read the text of the agreement, it actually only anticipates, Governor, amendments that might come from public participation. It says that if there are any amendments that are proposed by the people of Nairobi, and you yourself have alluded to the possibility of amendments, what you have called refining the agreement, but you and the president do not anticipate that the people of Nairobi in their righteous might can actually say, we don't want this agreement. So, whereas the agreement anticipates that you can accommodate our views and amend it, we, the people of Nairobi, can say, we reject it in total. We have not seen where you accommodate that particular view. I will move on to the next one, Honorable Chair. The governor, being a former senator, is aware that in fact there exists legal mechanisms for us to be able to send specific support to specific counties whenever it is required, and noted that there is a specific need. Governor, we have passed the county government's additional allocations. All this time when we've been in the Senate, you're familiar with that particular piece of legislation.
So this time around ilipitishagwa. Nakumbuka akiteta about nini wakikata hiyo do. So it was passed.
It is possible, Governor, and I will give the illustration of the county aggregation packs. Nairobi County, because we do not consider it a need, when you look at the column of the county government's additional allocation, you will see Kiambu, our bedroom, receives money for KIPES, county aggregation packs. On the column for Nairobi, it is blank because of the recognition that probably our priorities lie elsewhere. When the county governments began in 2013 on Bushare, there are counties that did not have headquarters. I went to Mandera and I found that they were given money specifically to a need to say, let us have county headquarters. They have built those county headquarters. If you look at the column for Nairobi, you will see that Nairobi does not receive money for county headquarters. So there is a legal instrument, Governor. There's a legal instrument. You should have pointed out to the president that it is possible for the national government to identify the specific need, for instance, on street lighting. Our bill for street lighting almost matches some of the money that some of these counties.
So this kulingana na vile this ninja anaisema, hii kitu yote si necessary. Like transferring nini. So this thing can be done. He can go and ask the Senate. You know, if there is an issue and he needs something he can go and ask the Senate. Anaweza lay two problems, issues zenye anataka zininiwe, and the Senate will do its best kuhakikisha, cause kuna hiyo hiyo yenye anaita caps. So kuna hiyo kuna hako kanini fulani So it was not necessary for him to go and, history yote.
Is spent on school feeding programs and the other things. It is a special need, and it flows out of that Section 6 of the Urban Areas Act. We should have told the president, we have no problem receiving money for support of Nairobi, put it in the proper legal instrument. Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, Chair, this question of, for instance, bursaries. You have had a fight with the national government and the control of budget, saying we are undertaking functions that are not supposed to be undertaken by the county governments. But under the recognition of our special needs as a people for support, especially when it goes towards education, I have been to counties like Mandera, even Nairobi has a bursaries program. Governor, if you look at the agreements that the control of budget required that counties do, there is no similar management mechanism that has been put in place. Musalia doesn't sit on our bursaries board, but we have an agreement so that you regularize it through the constitution. Thirdly and fourthly, the management committee. That is a problem that you as a committee will have to deal with. Musalia Mudavadi has sneaked himself into elective office in Nairobi because he is essentially undertaking the functions of your government. And I know he's your brother, but you don't have to share power with him. Honorable Chair, yes, there is the question of pending rates, Governor. You yourself will tell this committee the current outstanding balance. And last we had a conversation with you about how much money national government owes the people of Nairobi. I think it was upwards of something like 100 billion Kenya shillings. Why can't you tell the president that you have the capacity as a county government?
Ngoja. Imenipita hiyo.
Of pending rates, Governor. You yourself will tell this committee the current outstanding balance. And last we had a conversation with you about how much money national government owes the people of Nairobi. I think it was upwards of something like 100 billion Kenya.
So the national government owes Nairobi some money, right?
Shillings. Why can't you tell the president that you have the capacity as a county government to be able to manage Nairobi? Let him give us our money.
So if the national government owes, so why are they going for 80 billion? Because nani alisema atawape, I believe kuna mali kulikuwa kunatajwa I don't know 80 billion, so they are going to get like 80 billion from the national government. So, and this is nini owes the national government. So this national government owes the county government 100 million, and then they are going for 100 billion, then they're going for 80 billion. So, okay, Sifuna anasema like he should have told, this is not a Sifuna thing. Like this is not him going to this is not the national government coming to Nairobi, to the Nairobi county. No, ni Sakaja ameshindwa na kazi yako na acha niende tu nibonge na Ruto jo penye ata control.
And then we will build our roads. I have seen this county government building roads. Unless, Governor, you are saying you cannot build roads. If the national government gave the county government of Nairobi money, you have the capacity to build those roads. Yes. You have the capacity to do those sewer lines. You have the capacity to do the drainages. You are a government. Tell them to give us our money. When we see people saying, we will give you this money, but we are not very sure you will run it, so let's send Musalia to chair the board. That is unacceptable under the Urban Areas and Cities Act. Lastly, Chair, we are concerned about the oversight framework because I sit in the County Public Accounts Committee, and we as a Senate, we are guided by the reports of the Auditor General. We are making the life of the Auditor General difficult when during an audit process, they have to go to various entities to be able to find documentation that support the expenditure of these resources. So for instance, if we want to audit these resources that have been given under this particular arrangement, you are told, there are some documents you have to go and get from the Treasury, the others are where, the others are this. You are making it difficult for the auditor to be able to do their job. Lastly, Governor, the NMS, you yourself promised the people of Nairobi, we will not get into a misadventure similar to that one. This one is similar to that misadventure. It left us with a lot of pending bills. You have spoken to it. I heard you during your address to the County Assembly. And Governor, you came before this Senate. You came before this Senate. This Senate helped you to extract a concession from State House that Nairobi people will not be paying the pending bills under NMS. We said the controller of State House, who was the accounting officer under NMS, should pay those resources. Governor, my expectation is when you go to State House, please remind the president that he is the one responsible for payment of those NMS pending bills before you sign the contract. You cannot just be there smiling and laughing, and yet you know the trouble that these contractors from NMS are going through. Let them pay their pending bills, and we don't want this misadventure again. With those few remarks on the chair, I thank you, and I reserve the right to ask any supplementary questions if the committee will allow me.
Yo, that's crazy, man. Kijana amebonga venye anaweza.
Let's allow the governor to respond first.
Chair.
So,
Speaker, I can get all the questions.
Yeah.
Okay, atakumbuka ama kuna mtu anaandika nini zake hapo chini about the questions.
Okay.
Because there might be
Okay.
Chair, I thought because you gave the senator of the sitting room, you give the senator of the bedroom of Nairobi to also capture.
Thank you, Chair, for this opportunity. First, this committee has discussed the weak intergovernmental relations in Kenya. So, to begin with, as the Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations, we have been working to get governments at the national and county level to understand the Kenyan form of devolved governance, which is collaborative and cooperative. And we have had 13 years of operating as if they are competing. National government is competing with county governments. And yet both levels are supposed to deliver services to the same audience, the same citizens. So
uni nani jo? Uni nani? You know, I want to leave it at that kwanza. Ndio, I think, I hope you guys will join me in the next part. Penye tutaendelea na hii shughuli, and we are going to see what she's about, because I don't know who this is. But anyway, maybe in the next nini we'll get to know who she is. And yeah, she's saying that the national and the I don't know, do they compete? I don't know. Maybe when you're kuko juu ndo wanajua. But sisi tuko hapa chini, we never get anything from it. Even if they are competing, even if they are working together, hatujaipata any. We don't see the results. We just see bogus we just see bogus politics being played each and every day, you know, despite Nairobians, despite Kenyans paying taxes, you know, and still they are coming for the income of every Kenyan again, you know. Hawatosheki buda, hawatosheki hata kidogo. So anyway, I hope you're going to join me in the next part where we're going to continue with these shenanigans. Tuendelee tuone how it even transpired, and kama wali they came to a conclusion, if they wali come up with anything tangible yenyewe tunaweza sema okay, something was done here. But anyway, this is the Real Edits, and I'm hyped to the DARD. That is my name. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and also comment. And if you're watching without doing the latter, man, do it as fast as you can. Ndio ifikie wengi, ndio enjoy kama sisi. Ndio venye ndio nimeuliza, what are these tablets for, iPads for? Because I believe they are the new iPads. And sioni mtu akizitumia. Zimekuwa tu hapo zina charge. I don't see anyone akizitumia. These people are reading from papers. So what was the point of having them there? Vitu zingine zinakasirisha juu ya hii. So anyway, before hata niendelee sana, wacha nimalizie tu hapo. Tukimalizia tunasema always no. Tukimalizia tunasema it's all about con.